Welcome to Agile Planning and Portfolio Management with Azure Board. Let's start with transformation planning. What is DevOps? DevOps is a union of pupils, process, and product to enable continuous delivery of value to our end users. The contraction of Dev and Ops refer to replacing silo development and operation to create multidisciplinary teams that now work together with shared and efficient practice and tools. Essentials DevOps practice include agile planning, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and monitoring of application. DevOps is continuous journey. Unless you are building an entirely new organization. One of the big challenges with any development transformation project is that you will be taking action that conflict at least in some way with ongoing business stage. There are many aspects to this. The first challenge is the availability of staff. If the staff member who were leading the transformation project are also involved in existing day-to-day works within the organization, it will be difficult of them to focus on the transformation, at least in any meaningful way, particularly if their existing role directly impact customer outcome. We all know this desperate situation that involve customer will always win over a long-term project, like develop transformation. Another issue will be the way that the organization currently business outcome. The disruption that is required for the true development transformation will usually end up challenging those existing process and procedure. Doing that is often very difficult. Dr. Vijay and Dr. Chris of Dharma College have researched what's involved in allowing innovation to occur in the organization and noted that when this is successful, it's often been in spite of existing organization processes. They conclude that it only works where a separate team is created to pursue the transformation. For DevOps transformation, the separate team should be made up of staff members, all of whom are focused on and measure on the transformation outcome and not involved in the operational day-to-day work. The team might be also include some external experts that can fill the knowledge gap and help advise on a process that are new to the existing staff member. Ideally, the staff member who were recruited for this should already be well regarded throughout the organization, and as a group, they should offer a broad knowledge base so they can think outside the box. Most management courses would tell you that is you want to change something, you need to make sure that is measurable. DevOps transformation are no different. The project needs to have some clearly defined set of measurable outcome. Those outcomes should include specific measurable targets like reduce time spent on fixing bugs 60%, reduce the time spent on unplanned work by 70%, reduce the out of hour work required by staff to no more than 10% of total working time. Remove all direct patching of production system. One of the key aims of DevOps is to provide greater customer value, so outcomes should have a customer value focus. Setting up for goals. Measurable goals also need to have a timeline. While it's easy to set longer term goals, it's also easy to put off work when you know it's not needed for a while overall projects should have timelines that span anywhere from a few months to a year or two in any DevOps transformation project. It's important to have a constant series of short-term goals every few weeks. The improvement made should be clear and measurable, and ideally also obvious to the organization and or its customer. Clearly, the timeline should not be short. They should always be challenging yet achievable. A review should occur after each short-term goal to assist in planning the next one. There are several advantages of the shorter timeline. One key advantage is that it's easier to change the plan or priority when necessary. Another is that the reduced delay between doing works and getting a feedback helps to ensure that the learning and feedback are incorporated greatly. Finally, it's easier to keep organizational support when positive outcomes are apparent. Project selection. The terms of greenfield and brownfield have their origin in residential and industrial building projects. A greenfield project is one done on a greenfield, that is undeveloped land. A brownfield project is one that was done on land that has been previously used for other purposes. Because of the land use that have previously occurred, there could be challenge with reusing the land. Some of these would be obvious, like existing building, but could also be less obvious, like polluted soil. Greenfield projects will always appear to be an easier starting point because a blank stage offers the chance to implement everything the way that you want. You might also have a better chance of avoiding existing business processes that do not align with the project plan. For example, if the current IT policy do not allow the use of cloud-based infrastructure, this might be allowed for an entirely new application that are designed for that environment from scratch. As another example, you might be able to cite that internal political issues that are well entrenched. Brownfield projects. While brownfield projects come with the baggage of existing code base, existing teams, and often a great amount of technical depth, there can still be ideal project for DevOps transformation when your team are spending large percentage of their time just maintaining existing brownfield application. You have limited ability to work on new code. It is important to find a way to reduce that time and to make sure software release less risky. A DevOps transformation can provide that. The existing team member will often have been worn down by the limitation of how they has been working in the past and begin to try experiment with new ideas. These are often systems that the organization will be currently depending upon. So it might also be easier to gain a stronger management buy-in for this project because of the sign of the potential benefits that could be derived. Management might also have a stronger sense of urgency to point brownfield projects in an appropriate direction when compared to greenfield projects that don't currently exist. Team structures. Waterfall. Traditional software development practice involves determining a problem to be solved, analyzing the requirement, building and testing and required code, and then delivering the outcome to users. This is often referred to as an waterfall approach. The waterfall model follows a sequential order. A project development team only moves to the next phase of development or testing if the previous step is completely successfully. It's what an engineer would do when building a bridge or a building, so it might seem appropriate for a software project as well. However, the waterfall methodology has some drawbacks. One in particular relates to the customer requirement. Even if a customer requirement are defined very accurately at the start of a project, because this project often take a long time, by delivery, the outcome may no longer match what the customer needs. There are a real challenge with the gathering of customer requirement in the first place. Even if you build exactly what the outcome asks for, it will often to be different to what they need. Customers often don't know what they want until they see it or are unable to articulate what they need. By comparison, Agile methodology emphasizes constantly adaptive planning and early delivery with continuous improvement, rather than restricting development to rigid specification. It encourages rapid and flexible response to change as they occur. In 2001, a group of highly regarded developers published a manifesto for Agile software development. They say that developers need to favor individual and interaction over process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over a contract negotiation are responding to change over following a plan. Agile software development methods are based on release and iteration. One release might consist of several iterations. Each iteration is similar to a very small independent project, and after being estimated to prioritize features, bug fix, and enhancement and refactoring, which is assigned to a release, and then assigned again to a specific iteration within the release, generally on priority basis. At the end of each iteration, there should be tested working code. In each iteration, the team must focus on the outcome of the previous iteration and learn what from that. An advantage of having team focus on shorter term outcome is that teams are also less likely to waste time over engineering features or allowing an unnecessary scope creep to occur. Agile software development helps teams keep focused on business outcome. The Agile Alliance say that its mission is to support people who explore and applying Agile value principles and practice to make building software solutions more effective, human, and sustainable. They have published a manifesto for Agile software development. From that, they have distilled the 12 principles behind the Agile manifesto. First, our high year's priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of variable software. Second, welcome changing requirement. Even late in development, Agile process harness change for the customer competitive advantage. Delivery of working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the short-term timescale. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Build project around the motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support their needs and trust them to get the job done. The most efficient and effective methods of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Agile process promotes sustainable development. The sponsor developer and users should be able to maintain constant pace indefinitely. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhance accessibility. Simplicity, the art maximizing the art of work not done is essential. The best architectural requirements and design emerge from self-organizing teams. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, the tools, and adjust its behavior accordingly. Migrating to Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps comprises a range of services covering the full development lifecycle. Agile planning, work item tracking, visualization, and reporting tools. Azure Pipeline, a language platform and cloud agnostic CI/CD platform with support for container or Kubernetes. Azure Repo provides a cloud-hosted private Git repo. Azure Artifact provides integrated package management with support for Maven, npm, Python, and NuGet package feeds from public or private sources. Azure Testbed provides an integrated plan and exploratory testing solution. Azure DevOps can also be used to orchestrate third-party tools. Azure DevOps Service View Enterprise-grade authentication. You can use either a Microsoft account, GitHub account, or Azure Active Directory to protect and secure your data. Many client applications such as Visual Studio or Azure DevOps natively support this integration by either Microsoft account or Azure Active Directory. Eclipse can also support this if you install a Team Explorer Everywhere plugin. When you need non-Microsoft tools like Git, NuGet, or Xcode to integrate directly with Azure DevOps services, and the tools don't directly support Microsoft account or AAD account for authentication, you can still use them setting up personal access token. This token can be set up using a Git credential manager, or you can create them manually. Personal access tokens are also useful when you need to establish access in command line tools or in tools and task inbuilt pipeline, and when calling a REST-based API because you don't have a UI popping out to perform the authentication. When access is no longer required, you can then just revert the personal access token. Azure DevOps is pre-configured with default security group. Default permissions are assigned to the default security group, but you can also configure access at the organization level, the collection level, and at the project or object level. In the organization setting in Azure DevOps, you can configure app access policies. Based on your security policy, you might allow alternate authentication method, allow a third-party application to access via OAuth, or even allow anonymous access to some projects. For even tighter control, you can set a conditional access to Azure DevOps. This offers a simple way to help secure resources when using Azure Active Directory for authentication. Conditional access policies such as multi-factor authentication can help to minimize the risk of compromised credentials. As part of a conditional access policy, you might require security group membership, a location or network identity, a specific operating system, a managed device, or criteria. Migrating or integrating existing work management tools. Azure DevOps can be integrated with a variety of existing work management tools. As an example, in the Visual Studio Marketplace, Microsoft offers a thread integration tooling. Migrating from other work management tools to Azure DevOps takes considerable planning. Most of work management tools are highly configurable by the end users. This means that there might not be a tool available that will perform migration without further configuration. Jira is a commonly used work management tool in the Visual Studio Marketplace. Solidify offers a tool for Jira to Azure DevOps migration. It does the migration in two phases. Jira issues are exported to a file and then files are imported to Azure DevOps. Azure test plans are used to track manual testing for a sprint and milestone. This allows you to track when that testing is complete. Azure DevOps also have a test and feedback extension available in the Visual Studio Marketplace. The extension is used to help a team perform exploratory testing and provide feedback. All team members, developer, product owner, manager, UI or UX engineer, marketing teams, early adopter, and other stakeholders can use the extension to submit bugs or provide feedback. Apache JMeter is open source software written in Java and designed to look test functional behavior and measurable performance. Bester is a tool that can be used to automate the testing PowerShell code. SOAP UI is another testing framework of SOAP for and REST testing. If you are using Microsoft Test Manager, you should plan to migrate you to using Azure Test Plan instead. Hi everyone, let's start with the demo. First, for task 1, we are going to do a working with teams, areas, and iteration. Let's navigate to your Past Unlimited project and open a setting page using a project setting. Navigation located at the bottom left of the page. Then we go for a teams. There are already a few teams in this project, but you will make a new one for this step. Then click on New Team. Then we naming it Puyao-Web. Then click on Create. Select the new Create Team to view it in details. By default, the team has only you as its member. You can use this view to manage membership, notification, dashboard, and more. But first, you want to define the schedule and the scope and the team. Then click on iteration and path. Select the iteration. And click on select iteration. Then we add on this team will use the same iteration schedule that are already in place for other teams, although you can take a different route if that's better for your organization. Then for the next task, for the next step, I'm going to add the sprint for the teams. Sprint 1. And click on save and close. Note that this first sprint has already passed. This is because the demo data generator is designed to build out project history so that this sprint occurred in the past. Then we going to add in sprint 2 and sprint 3. Okay. Select the area tab. By default, there is an matching the name of the team. From the area of drop down, select include the sub areas. The default setting for all the teams is to exclude a sub area path. You will change it to include sub areas so that the teams get a visibility into all of the words from all teams. Optionally, the management team could also choose not include sub areas, thereby removing a word item from their view as soon as they are assigned to one of the teams. For next steps, working with word items. This task is designed to illustrate varieties of ways you can create a different kind of a words item as well as demonstrate and the brief of features available on the platform. As a result, these steps should not be viewed as prescriptive guidance for project management. As a result, these steps should not be prescriptive guidance for project management. The features are intended to be flexible and half to fit the process need. So explore and experiment you go. Click on overview. Okay, is the overview from the left tab is not the project setting. Then click on dashboard. Select the overview under the part unlimited teams. There are many ways to create work items in Azure DevOps, and we will explore a few of them. Sometimes it's as simple as firing or one off from a dashboard. In the new work item, we enter a title called product training. Then select Epic and click on create. Assign the item to myself. Okay. Then I select area path as I select just now the teams that I created. Set the iteration to the sprint 2. Okay. Then click save and close. Then I go to the board and work items. Then you will see a product training and open it. The work item info include everything you could ever want to know about a work item. This includes details about who is assigned, its status across many parameters, and all the associated information and history for how it has been handled. One of the key areas focus on related works. Then click on a new item. Then select from what item that is select features and give naming training dashboard. Thank you. Okay. The assignment areas and the iteration should already set the same as the epic and is even linked to the parent item. Each was created from this save and close. Navigate to a board. Then we will go to a PUR web, but this will open up particulars. Then in the backlog item, select features. From the training dashboard, we select add product backlog item. Then name the first backlog item as a customer. I want to view new tutorials. And press enter to save. This creates a new product backlog item. We call it PBI in the short form. Work items that is a child of the features and share its area and iteration. Add two more PBIs. designed to enable the customer to see their recently viewed tutorials and request a new tutorial. For the second, as a customer, I want to see tutorials I recently viewed. As a customer, I want to request new tutorials. Then switch back to the backlog items. Backlog items have a stage that defines where there are relatives being completed, while you could open and edit the word item using the form. It is to just drag cut on the board, drag the first word item to approve. Then you can view also expand the word item cut to get to convenient editable details. Assign this cut to myself. Drag the second word item to the committed stage. Drag the final PBI down the stage. The task board is one of view of the backlog. View the tabular form and create a view as backlog. Click on the expand button, which allows you to view a nested task under the word items. Set title to about a page. For most recent tutorials, set the remaining word to the file, and activity we go for a development, and click save and close. Add another task. For most recent tutorials, okay, then remaining word we got on 3. The activity we start for the design, and create save and close. Then now we go to manage a sprint and the capacity. From the view option, click on the drop down, select word details. Another option, okay. From this, for the current sprint has a pretty limited scope. There are 2 tasks in the to-do list that combine 8 hours of estimated work at the point 9 tasks that have been assigned. Assign the page to yourself. Okay. Note there is the update of capacity view. Okay. Select capacity tab. This view enables you to define what activity a user can take on and what level of capacity. In this case, set your capacity to allow follow to 1 hours of development per day. One and the development per day. However, let's assume that you are going to take some vacation, create 0 days on the DevOps. Then within the next 5 days, the next few weeks, okay, 25. Oh, 31 and 4. Okay. Then you will see a total is 5 days and click save. Then you click on save off. Return back to the dashboard. Note that the capacity has been updated to reflect the variable bandwidth. This exact number will vary from the screenshot. The sprint capacity 11 hours. Note one of the convenient features of bot is that you can easily update the key data inline. One of the good things that is you can change the time. Note that how this expands the development and your personal capacity to their maximum since they are large enough to cover the assigned task. Their stay green, however, the team overall team capacity is exceeded due to additional 3 hours required by the other tasks. One way to resolve this capacity issue would be to move the task to a future iteration. But it's not for now. Then we return back to the dashboard. Then we click on the select from view option, we select the pupil. The adjust view such that you can review the progress of tasks by the person instead of a backlog item. There is also a lot of customization available. Click on configuration team setting. Click on style. Then adding a stylus and name it development. Then select green color. Okay. This color, this will color all cut green if they meet the rules of criteria set below. Then add the rules. Set activity equal to development. Development. Then go to backlog. The backlog tab allows you to set the level available for navigation. Epic are not included by default, but you could change that here. You also can specify working days the team follows. This applies to capacity and burn down calculation. The working with bugs that allow you to specify how bugs are represented on the board, and click save and close. The task associated with development is now on green and very easy to identify. Next task, we are going to customizing Kanban board. Go back to the board. Then configuration team setting. Then we go to the tag color. We add the tag. Click on. Okay, this one we use start data. Then for the annotations, you would like to include on card to make them easier to read and navigate. When an annotation is enabled, the child words items that type are easily accessible by clicking the visualization on each card. Now on the text, to enable you to configure how text appear behaves on the card, and click and save and close. Open the view new tutorials below items. Tab for the data and the US. Okay. And click save and close. Note that the two tabs are now visible on the card. Auto data tab is highlighted yellow as configure. Then click the configure team setting button again. Then we go to column. We go to column. Select insert right. Then we put on rename it as a QA approved. Then set the WIP limit to the 1. And click on save and close. You will now see the new state of the workflow. QA approved. Move the work item from committed and done to a QA. The state now exceeds WIP limit is a color red and in color red as a warning. That as the customer I want to see a tutorial result enable to a committed. click on the configuration team setting again and click on column. Then select QA approved that we just now create. Then we check on the split column into doing and done. Then in the under the definition of done, we just type pass or test. Then you will see the QA approved stage that's showing doing and done. You can also click on the icon or to the column headers to read the definition. Click the configure team settings. Then we go to Streamline. We get on a Streamline, then we select as SPT, then click save and close. Then we move as a customer, I want to see a tutorial recently viewed to the QA approved. If you like to review a more sophisticated board with many more item select part limited teams from the drop down. This board provide you a playground for you to experiment with a review results. Then for next task, we go to defining dashboard. Go to overview. Go to dashboard. From the dashboard drop down, select a new dashboard. Name it as a product training. Then select the teams that we just now created and click on create. And click on add the record. Then set a sprint. Then we select sprint overview and click add. Menu you can have option configure and click on setting. Then set the quantity and the depth of setting very wicked and click on close. Then we go to shut the sprint again. Then we can go for the capacity. Then click on done editing. You can now review two important aspects of your current sprint or on your custom dashboard. Click on board again, then we select query. Click on new query. Then we select item equal to task. and error path. Error path to the Spark Unlimited PU Yao dash web. Think of save query. Then we name it as a web task. And the folder we select a share query. And click on OK. Then we back to the query. So to just down a query and select a chart. Okay. Just now we did not have a, we forget to we name it a task and under the share query and click on OK. Then go to a chart. Then click on a new chart and set a new task. By assignment. Then group by assign to. Loading, then click on OK. You cannot add this chart to a dashboard. Click on this one and add dashboard. Thank you. Now we going to customizing team process. Click on Azure DevOps. Okay, back to my project first. Then we go to Azure DevOps, go to organization setting. Wait, then go to the process. Wait, go to organization setting. Then we go for the process. Sorry for just now the internet is delayed. Then under the Scrum, select create inherited process. Then we name is a customer Scrum. And create process. I want to customize Scrum. Click on bottom panel item. Then click on wait. Click on new field. Then set the new field is called PUL ticket ID. And layout we label as the ticket ID. Then we select a new group call is box unlimited. And click on add fields. Okay, sorry, it's the line. Okay, because previously I already created, I just put on period remove the space. Okay. Now that the customer process has been configured, let's switch the unlimited process. Select Scrum. Then we go for project. Then in the part unlimited, we select change process. We select the customize Scrum and click on save. Then we go for the Azure DevOps again. Click on logo on the top left hand side. Select part unlimited. Then go to part item. Then we go for as a customer, I want to see it. I want to see tutorial I recently review. You now can see the ticket ID views under part unlimited. For the ticket ID, you can write it by yourself. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and click on save. Once the item is saved, Azure DevOps also save a new custom information so that it will be available for query and through the rest of Azure DevOps.